Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football: A Love Story and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Before we get to the report, if you like our style of video and analysis, feel free to show support for Football Game Plan by dropping by our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan and leaving a little something in the tip jar. Every little bit helps us as we continue to improve the quality of our videos and the coverage we enjoy bringing you guys each and every time we put out a project. Thank you again for your support. FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, here with Teron Davenport, Football Game Plan analyst, and we're at the 2016 Rutgers Scarlet Knights Pro Day. And Teron, you fortunately were able to participate in the Pro Day. I was done with my football playing career by then. You as a senior participating in these Pro Days. What was your mindset going in, and what did you want to accomplish when you went out there in front of all these scouts?
My mindset going in, being as though I was a wide receiver, I was a 4.55 guy, so I'm not a speed guy, but I wanted to make sure I caught every football and caught it cleanly, and I wanted to run my routes well. Obviously, I wanted to time better in the 40, but it is what it is. You can only do what your body will allow you to. So I really wanted to just show myself to be a very good just catcher of the football. So that was really the main thing I wanted to do. You always want to show agility and just your ability to drop your weight in your routes and just, run clean, crisp routes. Because when you're not a speed guy, you have to be able to use some of those nuances as far as the head fakes and just, always keeping your depth in your routes. So that was really my goal at my Pro Day.
And you mentioned, wanting to come in and catch the football and knowing your body. And one guy in particular, a wide receiver, Leonte Carroo, didn't work out today, but we kind of know what he can bring to the table on the field. I graded him out as a second-round type talent, outstanding out of his breaks. But do you think him not working out today was a big deal in the eyes of NFL scouts?
I don't think Carroo not working out today was a big deal. I got to talk to him just before we came over here, and he said that it was a reoccurring injury or something that happened during the season, and then it happened again at the Senior Bowl, and then Combine he rolled it. He said he's going to sit on that 4-5 time. As you mentioned, we know what we could do. This guy's a senior, so there's plenty of tape you could go back and watch multiple games and see what he could do, whether it be in the slot or playing outside. I think he's a complete receiver. One of the guys I really like in this draft class. I love his strength, how physical he is in the route. So long story short, no, I don't think that it's an issue at all for him not coming out at this Pro Day. He'll have one of his own. He just said March 31st. So he'll be right here again for all NFL teams.
Well, the good part about having a guy of the caliber of Leonte Carroo, when they come into town, the scouts want to see him.
Yes.
Thus, the other guys on the team that are participating in this Pro Day get their chance because maybe they didn't go to Indy, maybe they didn't have the fanfare of a Carroo, but now they have all the scouts here to watch these guys participate. And 2 guys in particular, the 2 linebackers, we thought did a very good job.
Yeah, just to start out, by my count, there were 22 teams here, so definitely well represented. Looking at Kaiwan Lewis, the middle linebacker, he's a guy I knew nothing about. I haven't watched a lot of Rutgers defense. I watched their offense, but anyhow, I like the way that he was able to move through drills. He had a nice stride in the 40. I think that he's someone that teams will look at. He's only 230 pounds, so will he be a guy that you would play in a 4-3 middle linebacker, type of scheme where, you have to take on blockers such as the Eagles and Jim Schwartz? No, but I think he's a guy that you could put in a 3-4 type of scheme, and allow him to just clean up. I mean, he moved really well. And I think that will help him as far as it comes to pursuing the football against the run. He looked good in his drops also. So he's a guy that stood out to me on the linebacker side of things.
And I look at Steve Longa, the junior that entered the draft early, and we were wondering why he entered the draft early. There's no doubting his talent. The guy can definitely play. But like I said before, when we were watching him work out, I thought he had a great workout. He caught the ball well, which is great for a linebacker. He ran well. I saw him against Tulane. This was back in 2014. I was at that game. He had 9 tackles. He had a sack. And I was like, this guy as a sophomore is going to be outstanding. It's going to be fun to watch him moving forward. He came out as a junior. I think he can play all 3 downs. It's just going to be interesting to see whether or not he's going to be a Mike backer or a weak side backer. I think he's probably better suited to play inside, but I thought he had a really good workout today. Now, moving on to the other side of the ball, we look at the offense. You look at a fullback.
Yeah.
I thought Sam Bergen ran well, had good footwork in bag drills, and most importantly, as we talked about, he caught the football well.
Yeah, that's something that stood out right away when they were just standing in place and, they had to turn and catch the ball. He caught it naturally, unlike, some of the other running backs here. But he caught the ball very well. And then even watching him where you had to make a little move on the linebacker and run your route, he actually was pretty smooth. So that was impressive. And as you mentioned, as a fullback, you have to be able to catch the football. That's going to be your ticket. You look at a guy like a Kyle Juszczyk out of Baltimore Ravens, and, that's the kind of player that this guy might be able to come in and be.
And you could trust him carrying the football maybe 2 to 3 times a game. He looked natural doing so. And you saw Savon Huggins, a guy that was a Rutgers 5-star recruit, came in with a lot of fanfare. Unfortunately, it didn't work out completely for him here. He transferred to Northern Iowa, outstanding FCS program, but they allowed him to come back and participate at the Pro Day today. I thought in the 60 shuttle, the 20-yard shuttle, and in his 40-yard dash, he ran very well. He was a fluid runner. And you just want to see him, finally put it all together. I know he had some nagging injuries throughout the course of his career, but just from a testing standpoint, I thought he really made himself some money today, so to speak.
Yeah, watching him, if you remember when he ran his 40, I turned to you, I said, that's the best one I've seen today. So definitely impressed with him on that side of things.
You also look at the defensive side of football. You have 2 defensive linemen that really stood out. One was Jonathan Zuta. Now, I've seen Zuta play live versus Cornell earlier in the season. And when you have a couple of pro prospects coming out of the Ivy League, you have Dalen Williams, the quarterback. You have their cornerback. His name slips my mind right now, but then there was also Zuta. And Zuta also had the attention of the Raiders and other teams out here just paying close attention to him. And I thought he really worked out well. He showed his burst and quickness off the ball.
Right, and once you pointed that out, I definitely saw that as well. I wasn't really paying as much attention to the defensive line, but when you pointed that out, he definitely had really nice bursts. I like the way he was able to excel through the bag drills also. So I'm curious. I would definitely want to go back and watch some of him and see what he brings to the table.
And Rutgers offensive lineman Keith Lumpkin, big, tall guy.
Yeah.
Moved real well, good footwork. What was your thoughts on him today? I thought he had a great day.
Yeah, I think he had a decent day. I watched him in the short shuttle, and it was just I always like seeing the big man move, and he was able to work through that, the 20-yard shuttle. I was impressed with him on the 3-cone also. He showed the ability to kind of drop his hips and get around that cone, and he didn't labor at all, and that's impressive. You want to see a guy that can move like that because, there are times where, screens and things like that where the tackle has to get out there in space and be able to get in space, so it was impressive seeing him move.
And good to see Paul James, the Rutgers tailback, out here working out as well. And we know Paul James came into Rutgers. He redshirted his first year, played real well. I remember he had a big game versus Washington State back in 2014. I want to say he went over like 120 yards, but he had those nagging injuries. And that seems to be the common theme for a lot of these guys, and why they're not having a lot of fanfare. But the talent is definitely there. He worked out well today, too.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. He labored a little bit in his 40 time, but hey, like we said, 40 and football, 2 different things. So I'm not going to knock him for that. I wanted to see Carroo primarily, but he was another guy that I was looking to see. And, seeing him in person, I like his size, and I think that he is someone that can come in. I believe he's 225 pounds. So, the size to be not necessarily a feature back, but to be in the mix is there for him.
And one guy, I always like to dig a little deep. I brought a guy to your attention today, Leonte Simmons from St. Lawrence University, a Division III program. However, not only was he a tremendous football player, he also played on the basketball team, and he caught your eye as well.
Yeah, he was a taller corner. That's the thing that stood out to me. I asked you if he was 6'1", 6'2". We unfortunately don't have the height and weight listed, so I want to go back and check that out. But yeah, he definitely stood out. He ran well in his 40. Had a nice stride. So I'm going to look at him also. I got some homework to do after this for sure. So
yeah, good ball skills by Simmons. Another guy that also was a football game plan preseason Division III All-American. We tend to pick about right here at Football Game Plan. We have a little bit. We know a little bit about a lot of stuff here, but
go deep like a shark.
we're in deep very well with all these prospects, and it was just a great day today. A lot of guys got the chance in front of their families, in front of their friends, in front of scouts, most importantly, to put on one more show for these people in their Rutgers uniform, or if guys aren't from Rutgers came in to compete well against guys from, let's say, a upper level school. So it was a great day overall here at the 2016 Rutgers Pro Day. For Teron Davenport, I'm Emory Hunt. For more of our NFL draft coverage, visit the website footballgameplan.com/draft.